What's harder for you? Moving heavy weight or moving your own body weight? Have you ever been humbled by a simple bodyweight move? And can we really call ourselves strong if we can't even move our own body weight? I've gone through many instances in my lifting career where moving my own body weight was definitely easier than moving heavy weight, and vice versa. I've had times where moving heavy weights was a lot easier than moving my body. And to this very day, I can still load up almost 400 pounds on my back, squat it just fine, but I can't perform one single pistol squat to save my life without getting out of balance and just toppling over and looking like a complete fool. So, in my opinion, I can't call myself strong if I can't even stay balanced on one leg and squat up and down on one leg. But I think my strength standards have changed personally. Now, that may not be true for you, but I think I'm in a category now where I'm putting bodyweight and calisthenics a bit higher than just moving weights on a bar. And every bodybuilder or strength athlete that I admire throughout all the ages have usually combined weights and calisthenics at some point in their training career. They mixed the two together. That's typically when they were at their best. You guys agree with that? So, like, if you combine them, what can really happen with your body? I think there can be a lot of discussion based on that. So, what calisthenics skill do you respect or appreciate the most? So, when it comes to that, I'm more into the guys that do heavy weighted stuff. I love that stuff. Like people that can do, 200 pound weighted pull-ups or like 200 pound weighted dips. Like that to me is super freaking amazing. And there's a bunch of street lifters who just do a ton of reps. Like that's really cool too. Now it's not that particular part of it's not my cup of tea because I feel like we all are biased to what we're good at naturally as well. And I'm just better at, the 5 to 8 rep range personally with my body just based on my experience. So let me know if you guys are like that too. Like, do you guys tend to lean toward a certain rep range because your body is good at that versus, more reps? That's another eye-opener for you as well. Don't get me freaking wrong. The planches and the levers and all the stuff that defies physics, if you ever look at it, and you're like, how the frick did the human body, how can you even do that? Those guys are so impressive. Like, beyond, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, they have my entire respect. And I have a really good friend of mine that's getting really good at all that stuff, and it is just completely wild. His progression with all that stuff is really, really cool. It's amazing. But when it comes down to calisthenics training, we got to be honest with ourselves, Could you do 10 strict pull-ups right now? Could you just jump up to a bar and bang out 10? Could you do 5? 3? Or are you still working on 1? All of these goals are amazing, and they're really hard to accomplish. I think there was a study that said that 90% or so of men can't really do a lot of pull-ups. It's nuts. What about 25 push-ups? What about 25 fully extended, arm extended, go down, touch your chest, and extend back up? That's 1 rep. Can you do 25 of those? It's more impressive the more you think about it. What about 1 muscle up? That'd be freaking cool. I've actually personally never done a muscle up. I know it's a lot of skill versus pure brute raw strength, but there's a ton of people that don't use momentum when they do muscle ups. Again, very, very impressive. Like I said earlier in the video, what about pistol squats? Can you, from a standing position, stick one leg out, bend the knee of the other one, and squat all the way down and stand back up on one leg? How honest with yourself are you with some of these standards? Are they movements that could help your daily life as well? I know for me, sometimes I could do a lunge to pick something up off the floor, like a kid's toy, or I'm cleaning, and I'm struggling to get off one knee just from a lunge. I'm like, oh my God, is it just me in my 30s, or am I just that trash on one leg? Freaking wild. Does pre-existing muscle mass make calisthenics harder? I think yes. Abso-freaking-lutely. And it all comes down to leverages. Okay? Because if you've never done a pull-up in your life and you weigh 200, you have to move 200 pounds. If you weigh 150 pounds and you've never done a pull-up in your life, you have to pull up 150 pounds. Now, by default, who is going to have the easier time? The gentleman weighing 150 or the lady weighing 150. So on all the muscle building calisthenics moves, i.e. push-ups, dips, ring rows, pull-ups, your actual body weight and body mass makes a difference in the beginning initial difficulty of these movements. Just without a doubt, it's just a fact. The heavier individual is going to have a harder time doing calisthenics at first. Asterisk there, at first. And the skill-based movements like the handstands, the L-sits, the planches, and the levers, if you have bigger legs in all these movements, it's going to be harder for you to maintain the proper form and technique that is required to complete those skills. So do I think muscle mass makes a difference? It does. It doesn't harm you in the muscle building moves, but I believe it can stall you in the skill moves. So I think there's you got to really choose what area of calisthenics you want to be good at, and there's always a specificity to all the training we do, right? Like if you want to be better at bench press, you got to bench press. No amount of doing push-ups is really going to get you to a better bench press. There will be some carryover, but you got to do the skill of the movement, and that can be said with every movement all the time. That's just the reality of the situation. But how do you define strength? What do you think about combining the calisthenics with your weight movements? Someone who can deadlift 500 pounds but can't do 3 pull-ups, is he as strong as the guy that can do 15 pull-ups but only pulls 400 from the ground? Something to think about. Because I know there are some bench pressers that can bench press 300 pounds but probably can't do really good push-ups. If they fell on the ground, how quick are they to get up from the ground? In a functional way. Guys that can squat a lot, but once they get on one leg, are they out of balance or flip-flopping over, or they can't even lunge right? Something to think about. And I'm going to get into more of a journey of more wholesome calisthenics myself. And I made a post recently on what people think my next challenge should be, and it's looking like it's going to be 30 days of calisthenics. So I guess consider this the intro to that whole series there. But I'm going to document everything on this challenge as well. I'm going to document what muscle building calisthenics moves I want to use. And then I'm going to document some skills I want to work on. Because I want to work on some of the levers and planks and stuff, because they're just, they're so cool to look at. And it'd be wild to see myself do that. You know, you always see them on YouTube videos or reels, and you just scroll through and you see someone just hanging up on a bar somewhere. Like, it's nuts. I think it'd be cool to try that. So should every lifter try and get good at basic calisthenics at some point? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes to that. Again, I'm gonna be biased, but I do think we can all benefit from moving our own body weight around. Appreciate you guys watching some of my lifts. Tune in for more of the calisthenics chapter of my life I'm gonna document and show for you guys. And I hope you guys like it all.